Hello everyone, my name is Jelani Awadi and my presentation is on disaster management in Pakistan. I specifically chose Pakistan because it is a developing country that faces repeated natural disasters with things like floods, earthquakes, droughts, landslides, and heat waves. Because these disasters happen so often, Pakistan has had to build a much stronger national disaster management system over time. Pakistan's current disaster management system was mostly shaped by the 2005 Kashmir earthquake. Before 2005, the country mainly focused on relief after disasters instead of preparing before them. The earthquake showed serious weaknesses in emergency response, communication, and coordination. Because of this, Pakistan created the National Disaster Management Authority, or NDMA. Along with provincial and district disaster agencies, it is organized as a layered system because different parts of Pakistan go through different hazards. An example of this is northern areas are typically more vulnerable to earthquakes and landslides, and the southern they have to deal with more flooding and heat waves. Pakistan mainly follows a top-down implementation pattern. This means that the federal government and NDMA control major policy decisions and military deployment and international aid coordination. At the same time, provincial and district authorities are responsible for carrying out evacuations, shelters, healthcare, and food distribution on the ground. The main hazards Pakistan plans for are floods, earthquakes, heat waves, and droughts. The floods are the most common, though, and destructive hazards, while earthquakes are dangerous in some of the mountain north regions, as I've previously mentioned. The biggest policy changes came after three major disasters. First, the 2005 Kashmir earthquake that showed that Pakistan's response system was too weak, which led to the creation of the National Disaster Management Framework. Second is the 2010 superfloods, which showed the need for a stronger flood forecasting, early warning systems, warehouse storage, and better coordination. Finally, the third, the 2022 floods pushed Pakistan even further toward climate adaptation and long-term recovery planning, since climate change made the flooding much worse. There are many different groups who participate in Pakistan's disaster management system, and some of those include NDMA, which I've previously mentioned, district governments, police, which include things like rescue services and hospitals, Pakistan's military, which are good for transport and rescue, NGOs and different international agencies. The main obstacles that still remain in Pakistan's disaster management is weak infrastructure, poverty, limited local resources, coordination problems between levels of government, and climate change making disasters even more severe. In conclusion, Pakistan's disaster management system is much stronger today than it was 20 years ago. However, the country is still highly vulnerable because of flooding, earthquakes, poverty, and climate change. The biggest takeaway from my research is that repeated disasters forced Pakistan to shift from reactive relief towards disaster risk reduction and climate resilience planning, which continues to shape policy today. Thank you.